Hi everybody! Today I want to talk about thesis statements and introductions for the personal narrative essay. So by 9:25 on Tuesday, September 8th, you will be submitting the rough draft of your personal narrative essay to Brightspace for our peer review workshop. To help you with this paper and as you get started with the beginning, I want to talk about my advice for writing a strong thesis statement and an effective introduction that will contain that thesis statement. So I have a few slides that I want to share with you. Of course, if you have any questions, you can always email me or stop by my office. So first we're going to start with, if I can get my slide to go, there we go, thesis statement basics. So some of these things are true for thesis statements no matter what kind of paper you're writing. So the thesis statement should state the main claim or point of an essay. The thesis statement comes at the end of the introduction paragraph. So it's not the very first sentence of your essay, but it does need to come at the end of the introduction so that readers know what to expect in the body paragraphs that are upcoming. Your thesis statement should be 1 to 2 sentences in length, no more. So we're talking about getting your main point or your main claim really in a short amount of time in 1 to 2 sentences so your readers can quickly and easily spot it. You want to make that thesis statement as specific as possible. Even though it's short, you want to be precise as you can be so that readers know exactly what your paper is going to be about. You want to avoid phrases that I like to officially call blah phrases. Things like, in this paper, or my main argument will be that. You don't need those words. Just tell us what your main point or main argument is. Now let's talk about thesis statements for this particular essay, the narrative essay. Think about what your main point in this paper should be. What are you trying to share with your reader? Think about that for a second. Probably you came up with this. Who is the most significant person in your life, and what kind of impact they have had on you? So, your thesis statement should identify the person that your paper is focusing on and offer a short but specific summary, 1 to 2 sentences, of how that person has influenced you. That's your thesis statement for this particular essay. Here are some examples of thesis statements. This one is not so good, needs revision. One person in particular has had the greatest influence on my life. Okay, I know this paper is going to be about one person, but who? It needs to be more specific. This one's better. My brother has had the greatest influence on me. Okay, now I know who you're talking about, but I'm still wondering, what is that influence? Here's a great thesis statement. By showing me how to be kind and optimistic when faced with adversity, my brother has shaped me into someone who can overcome any challenge. Okay, now I know exactly what the main point of this paper is going to be. That's the kind of thesis statement you want to aim for in your draft. Now let's talk about the basics of an essay introduction, the opening paragraph. An introduction needs to do 3 things. 1. Grab the reader's attention. 2. Give some context or background of the topic that you're writing about. And 3. Lead into the thesis statement. As we talked about, that thesis statement is the last 1 or 2 sentences at the end of the introduction. So you want to come up with a segue from that context or the background of your topic into that very precise, specific thesis statement at the end. Now, how to begin the introduction in this particular essay? Well, you have a couple different options, I think. In the first sentences of this narrative essay, you could begin in the middle of dialogue. Jump right into the middle of a conversation that you remember having with this person. That would ask or kind of prompt readers to go further in your essay to figure out what's going on, who's speaking, what's this about. Another option would be start by describing the person's appearance in a lot of detail. Make it so vivid for us that we can see this person as if we were standing in front of them ourselves. Another option, jump right into a short anecdote about the person. So we've been talking about anecdotes, how they are short stories that illustrate something important about the person. Just jump right into one. Tell us a little story to get us interested right at the beginning of your paper. You could also ask the reader questions that are relevant to this paper topic. So what kind of questions might you want people to be thinking about as they're reading this essay about this significant person? You could also share a personal experience that you've had recently that maybe reminds you of the person that you're writing about. So that way you're immediately showing people how this person has had an influence on you, but you're not even telling them. You're showing them by describing this experience, this recent experience that reminds you of this person and the impact they've had on your life. So now it's your turn. Think about these things as you're writing your introduction and thesis statement. You want to make sure that those are clearly in your draft when you turn it in for the first peer review workshop. As always, if you have questions or need some more help or guidance, send me an email, stop by my office. We can do virtual office hours. Anything you need, I'm happy to do. Okay, thanks everybody. More soon.